On cold and short fall or winter days, I love to stay warm at home with a cup of nice hot chocolate. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you how you can make beautiful and unique chocolate covered espresso spoons. And with the holidays just around the corner, these spoons are a great gift to give to your family, your friends, and your coworkers. Then all you have to do is just dip them in a cup of hot milk and you have delicious hot chocolate with a kick of some coffee in there too. This is a simple project that you can complete on a weekend day or in an evening when you have the extra time. Now let's run through all the items and all the ingredients we're going to need for this project. First step, get some great spoons. I went to a local antique shop and I picked up some teaspoons and some tablespoons with some great and intricate designs, and these are going to be perfect for the project. If you don't have the time to go hunting for spoons, you can always use plastic spoons you can pick up at any store. We're also going to need 3 different types of chocolate. We're going to need white chocolate, a milk chocolate, and a semi-sweet chocolate. Now, I know in my previous videos people have asked what type of chocolate I used, and I used Ghirardelli because it has great quality and it melts really well in the microwave or on the stove top. We're also going to need some coffee, some instant coffee actually, and granules, preferably not a powdered, but something that has a little more texture to it. And then we have some optional decorating ingredients that we can use. I have some toffee chips, and then we also have some edible pearls, some sugar sprinkles. You can use a variety of different colors to your liking. We're also going to need a few disposable pastry bags, and we're going to need some favor bags or goodie bags. And I went to a local craft store and picked these up, and you can get them with or without the ribbons, and you can also use your own ribbons if you want to add a little bit more flair to your project. So let's get started on our project. Our first step is going to be creating the coffee and chocolate base for our spoons. We're going to melt a cup of our semi-sweet chocolate chips in the microwave with a little bit of shortening, and we're going to add some of our instant coffee granules. And then we're going to fill our teaspoons or tablespoons up to the top with some of that mixture, and then we're going to let that set. So let's melt our chocolate. I use 1 cup of chocolate chips. Measure that out into a measuring cup. I add just a touch of shortening, and now this is going to help our chocolate melt very beautifully. It's going to be very smooth. I like to melt my chocolate in the microwave, and we're going to set our microwave setting to about 50% or a medium power level, and that's going to prevent our chocolate from melting too quickly. We're going to stir it every 30 seconds until it melts completely and it's nice and smooth, and then we're going to come back and complete our first step. This chocolate has melted beautifully, and you see how uniform and smooth it is? That's just the way we want to have it. Now we're going to add half a cup of our instant coffee. Measure that out here. And we're going to fold that into our chocolate. Just give it a few twirls here. And it's not going to be very smooth, and that's okay. Just want to make sure we mix that all together. Okay, and for our next step, we're going to fill our spoons with some of that chocolate. We're going to fill it to the top. Okay, and I've lined a sheet here with parchment paper. That's going to be perfect for setting our spoons onto the pan. It's going to create an easy, mess-free cleanup for you. We're just going to smooth it out, and you see I fill them to the top just like that. Set them here. I filled all the spoons with our chocolate and coffee mixture, and you can see the visual effect of using different spoons and different designs makes. It's beautiful. Now we're going to let this set in the refrigerator for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to let that chocolate and coffee mixture set up just a little bit before we go to our second step. Now that we have our chocolate spoon sitting in the refrigerator, we can prepare for our second step. We're going to melt 1 cup of each chocolate. And here I have my white chocolate. We're also going to add a touch of shortening to each bowl so it melts more smoothly. There's our white chocolate. We're also going to need some milk chocolate. And some of that semi-sweet chocolate again. and a touch of shortening in each bowl. And again, the shortening is going to help that chocolate melt very smoothly. It's going to create a very uniform mixture. We're going to melt this chocolate in the microwave. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other chocolate. We're going to set the power level to 50% or medium, and we're going to stir every 30 seconds. Now this is also very important for the white chocolate because it's the trickiest chocolate to melt. It can get really fussy and it might not melt very well. If you see that it's clumping up, go ahead and add just a touch more shortening, and that should help create a very uniform chocolate. I've melted all my chocolate, and you can see it's a beautiful smooth consistency, and that's what you want all your chocolate to be like. It's going to run off of your spatula in a smooth ribbon. And now we're ready for our second step. I've taken out my spoons out of the refrigerator, and you can see that chocolate and coffee mixture isn't going anywhere. It's set up very nicely. Now for our next step, we're going to dip some of our spoons into the milk, into the dark, and into the white, and just do a variety. You don't have to stick to one specific chocolate. Now to dip them, we're just going to tilt our bowl a little bit to the side, and we're going to twirl our spoon around until it's coated nicely and evenly. And then we're going to tap off some of that excess chocolate into the bowl. And then we're going to return it to our pan. And I'm going to dip some into my milk chocolate. Same thing, just twirl it around. Tap off the excess chocolate. And we're going to return them to the pan. Make sure that they're set nicely and evenly so that chocolate sets up evenly. I've covered all my spoons into white, milk, and dark chocolate. Now we need to let these set before we decorate them any further. We're gonna let them set for about 5 to 10 minutes again in the refrigerator, and then we'll come back and we'll add some more chocolate layers and some decorations to the top. I've had my spoons sitting in the refrigerator with the chocolate for about 10 minutes. And you can see when they're set, they peel right off the parchment paper, and then we can add a little more decoration to them. And I'll show you a few different decoration techniques that will add extra flair to your chocolate spoons. One of the simplest techniques is creating a two-tone chocolate spoon. What you could do is just pick a milk or a dark chocolate spoon, and we're gonna dip it just halfway into the white chocolate, and we'll give it a little bit of a flair. Let's go ahead and dip it halfway. We're gonna just get rid of the excess chocolate here, and then we're gonna put it back onto the tray, and we're gonna let that set. Now another great and simple technique is using toffee bits to cover the spoon. Now you can't use nuts because we're obviously going to be dipping the spoons into hot milk or hot water, and the nuts aren't going to melt, but the toffee bits are going to. So for the toffee bits, I'm just going to take a spoon and we're going to dip it again into one of the chocolates. Let's just say this is a milk chocolate spoon. We'll dip it into some dark chocolate just to cover that, and we're going to tap off the excess chocolate. And then we're going to come over to a little tray filled with toffee bits, and we're going to sprinkle them on top. And we're going to tap off the excess toffee bits. Make sure to cover even the back side just a little bit. And then we're going to set this back onto the tray to set. We can also use the same technique with edible pearls. I'm going to take one of these white chocolate spoons, and I'm going to dip it again into some white chocolate. Just tap off that excess chocolate, and we're going to add some of these edible pearls to the top, and it's going to be beautiful. Just sprinkle them on top. And then we're going to go ahead and put it back onto the tray to set. Just like that. Now for my favorite technique, we're going to transfer any extra chocolate that we have left over into disposable pastry bags. Now these pastry bags come without a tip at the very end, so you can cut it as small or as big as you'd like, and I put them into glass just to make the transferring process a little bit easier, and then we'll create little drizzles across the chocolate. So if your chocolate has set up a little bit, you can return it to the microwave to melt it just a little bit more. And we're going to transfer this white chocolate into here. It makes it so easy. Just like this. And then we lift it from here. We're going to push all that chocolate down to the bottom. Give it a little twist. I can go ahead and pick one up, or you can actually do it right over the pan. And we're gonna go back and forth. Just like that. And you see the beautiful pattern that it creates. We're gonna let this set up before we put it into our goodie bags. I finished decorating all of my spoons, and you can see all the different decorating techniques that you can use for your chocolate espresso spoons. What we're gonna do, we're gonna let this sit in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. We're gonna let it set up just a little bit, then take it out and leave it on the counter to set completely. And then we'll come back and we'll put them into our goodie bags. Our beautiful coffee espresso spoons are now all done, and you can see all the different decorating techniques I've used in the video today. They're fairly simple, and I hope you have fun recreating them at home. So for our last step, we're just gonna put our chocolate spoons into a little goodie bag just like this, and they're gonna be ready for you to give to your friends and family. So just grab one of your goodie bags, and these are fairly large. These are longer ones. You can also buy shorter ones that will cover just the top. We'll take one of our bags, simply slide the spoon in. And we're gonna grab one of our ribbons. Now these are the ribbons that came with the bags that I purchased, but you can also have your own ribbons in like different colors, different designs. Just tie it around like that. Get a quick bow at the top. And your spoons are all ready to give to your friends. Now we can't end the episode without us trying these delicious chocolate espresso spoons. So I've heated a large mug of milk, and you can heat it either the microwave or the stovetop, and let your friends and family know exactly how to use these chocolate spoons when you gift them. So we're gonna take one of our spoons, we're just gonna dip it in there, and we're gonna let this sit for a few minutes. We're gonna just stir it around, and we're gonna let it sit, and all that chocolate's just gonna melt into the milk. And now we're ready to enjoy our delicious chocolate espresso drink. This is so good. It's like chocolate and espresso all in one mug, and this is perfect for a cold fall or winter day. It'll keep you nice and warm. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you make this for your friends and family over this holiday season. We'll see you next time.